Hi guys,
It's Danny
and Ryder, and
today we will be showing you our Anne Frank podcast. Now to start, we have to know who Anne Frank even was and what made her famous.
Anne Frank was a Jewish teenage girl that lived during World War II.
Before we can get into Anne Frank's story, we have to know a little bit about what was going on in Germany during World War II, which just so happens to be the Holocaust. The Holocaust was a mass genocide of the Jewish, disabled, people of color, and many, many more. This was all done during the jurisdiction of the Nazi Party being led by Adolf Hitler.
The Nazi army made these things called concentration camps. Concentration camps were advised as good things and safe places for family. They were made for Jewish people, disabled people, gay people, and many other people of different cultures. In reality, concentration camps were torture. They wouldn't feed them, they would force them to labor, and then force them to shave their heads when they got there. If they disobeyed, they would get shot on the spot. And to kill them, what they would do is they told them they were going to take a group shower, but they would really fill up the shower with gas, and they would gas them out and kill them.
Obviously, after the Jewish people found out how bad these places really were, they would try to hide from the Nazis. And that is where we can begin our story on Anne Frank. Anne Frank was born June 12, 1929 in Frankfurt, Germany.
Anne Frank was a German citizen, but she had to move when she was 4.5, so she lost her citizenship. One of her parents was German and one of her parents were Jewish, so she had a little bit of Jewish in her. Because of that, she was hunted and targeted by the Nazis.
The Nazis hunted for Jewish people all over Germany. It just so happened to be that Anne Frank was in Germany and a Jew. So she went into hiding behind her father's business on Prinsengraad 263rd Street in Amsterdam with her mother, father, and sister.
Anne Frank hid in the attic for a total of 2 years. She wrote 2 diaries about her experience in the attic. Her diaries were later discovered and published on June 25th, 1947.
Ultimately, the exit out of the attic wasn't a happy departure. On August 4th, 1944, Anne Frank was found in the attic with her family. This happened because the Grease family, one of the people who had been hiding them, ended up snitching on them, which ultimately getting them caught by the Nazis.
Anne Frank was brought to Bergen-Belsen concentration camp, and I believe that's where she was executed.
When Anne Frank's diaries were discovered in 1947, they were able to give the general population a good idea of what it was like to live in constant fear and always being on the run. It gave us a good idea of what it was like to hide from the Nazis. Thank you for listening to our podcast.